Hi everyone. So I'm coming on today because, first of all, so many of you signed up, and I'm so happy to have you here. Honestly, it's just a joy to see so many women empowering themselves with tools and resources, and just also the acknowledgement that it's okay to ask for support and for guidance. So I'm coming on here because I was just walking the dog and I thought, you know what, I've got a few things to say, and this can just be part of this month's content. And what I wanted to tell you is a bit of a story. You may have seen on my socials that I was nominated for a podcast award, British Podcast Award. Massive moment, so exciting, something that I've been really building up to for a really long time. If you told me 2.5 years ago, maybe longer, that I'd be nominated for a national British Podcast Award, kind of like I was trying to explain to the kids, it's like the Emmys or the Oscars of British podcasting. They would, I would have laughed, if I'm honest. I'm just fiddling around with my necklace because I can see it's that way. And so now here I am. I got nominated on Monday, today's Saturday. And I wanted to tell you a story, what happened, because it kind of explains the ADHD brain, it kind of explains the ADHD nervous system. And I want to give you this example because I think it's really powerful to help you understand your ADHD as well. So we nominated ourselves about 4 months ago, and what we had to do is give loads of evidence. It was loads of work. We had to provide lots of clips, lots of wording, feedback, reviews. It was a week's worth of work, but in my head I was like, you know what, this is worth it, because if we can get ADHD on the map, I'm going to go for it. I'm not bloody yes, I'm recording. There you go. I'm just thinking I'm not recording. So we submitted it, and I knew that the 20th of June was coming, and I thought, right, okay, I'm just going to forget about it. Started creeping up the 17th, 18th of June, starting to think, oh my God, it's coming up. But in my head, I was busy. I was seeing clients. I was working towards launching the membership, the collective, which fantastically, you guys are here. And then came the 20th. It was a really busy day, and I'd been cramming lots in, and I could feel already that I was tired. I could feel that I was getting burnt out. I could feel that very often what happens is, and especially when I'm about to get my period, my back starts to go, and it's very hormonal, and it's a pattern. And I could start feeling my back feeling a bit tweaky, a bit twingy. Ignored it. Nomination evening came. I got an email message from my producer, my editor, Faith, who basically went, we've been nominated. Obviously, I was like complete disbelief, up against some huge, amazing podcast, legends, amazing other podcasts in that category. Genuinely surprised and overwhelmed. And then I could just feel my back going a little bit more, ignoring it, like, oh my God, I've got to post on social media, I've got to tell people, I've got to tell friends, I've got to tell family. It was just kind of like overwhelm central from every place. So I ignored the back, went to bed on Monday night, still, this is not great, knew my period was about to come, woke up the next morning, period was there, and my back had gone into complete spasm to the point where I could feel it through the night, and things were very uncomfortable. I wasn't sleeping properly. I couldn't turn properly. I woke up. I couldn't even get to the bathroom. I was crawling on my hands and knees to get to the bathroom. I knew I had, my period, without going into too much detail. I needed to get pads and tampons, and I was in a really, really bad way. And it was to the point where my whole body felt like it internally combusted. Now, what I want to be able to give you this example now is that I knew it was my nervous system not sensing whether this was a really exciting situation or a really stressful situation, because inside there was just complete overwhelm. My brain was like going a million miles an hour, and I could feel that things felt out of control. And as I've gone through the week, and I've gone through physios, I've had acupuncture, I've had all sorts of manipulation, And I've had to cancel all my clients, I had to cancel absolutely everything. And I had to lie in bed between doing all the exercises. And what came to me was a realization that my brain likes it when things are sort of quite calm and easy and stable. But the minute things kind of go a bit haywire, my nervous system holds, and then it gets to a point where it just can't hold anymore. And I think with the ADHD nervous system, I've done a workshop on this, we are more prone to feeling this overwhelm, this feeling kind of like complete burnout, this feeling of just like, I always call it being frazzled, but I don't even think it kind of does it justice of how we feel, because it's from every sensory aspect, whether it comes with a migraine, it comes with a back spasm, it comes with gut inflammation, it comes with an autoimmune issue. We feel it more, we're more sensitive to it in our bodies, more sensitive to it in our minds. And, sadly, this whole amazing excitement of being nominated for a podcast award was completely overshadowed by the fact that I was in absolute agony. I was taking all sorts of pain medication. I just kind of, I knew that I needed to post about it. I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to thank them. I wanted to kind of reach out to other nominees. There was so much I wanted to do. It was like, where do I go? All angles. I really wanted to kind of, especially from my PR background, I really wanted to be able to, make use out of the moment and shout from the rooftops about something that I had worked very, very hard to achieve. So what I have also realised in this sort of in this week is that I was also being told to slow down, and I was getting warning signs for a while because I could feel this burnout creeping. I could feel it, coming before the Monday of the nominations. And funny enough, what happened was I always notice the sort of the signs and the language that my body's trying to tell me, but sometimes, unfortunately, I only see it in hindsight. And this is what I kind of like want to teach yourselves, my clients, because when we're in it, it's harder for us to notice. And that's why it's really great to have accountability, in a group or a coach. Because what happened to me a few days before, I stubbed my toe really badly. I stubbed my toe. My toenail was like agony. I couldn't put trainers on. Normally I'm out, trainers, walking the dog, doing exercise, busy, running from one thing to the other. And I was in agony with my toe. And I could feel like if anyone's ever stubbed their toe really, really badly, like the pulsating blood underneath your toenail. I felt like my toenail was about to explode. I couldn't sleep properly for a few nights. Which, I felt like I should be slowing down, but I was like, no, it's a toenail. People, don't slow down for this type of thing. Then I got the back spasm. I had to slow down. I really did. The day I'd been to a physio, and the physio sort of said to me, take it really easy. Maybe you can have a little walk to stretch things out. And in my head, that was, I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to get this out my system. I don't have time for a back spasm. I've got 4 kids. I want to work. I've been nominated for an award. I've got things to do. I've got a membership to launch. I don't have time for a back spasm. And this was the kind of energy that was, working with me, even though at the back of my head there was a gut feeling, there was an intuition that maybe this is a sign for me to be slowing down. This is a sign for me to be listening to my nervous system, listening to the language my body was speaking to me, that there was tension and it was building up, especially around my period. And what we need to understand is like our cycles. And again, we're going to be talking about this in one of the workshops, is that if we don't listen to our cycles, we don't listen to that ebb and flow, we're completely out of sync. And we should know as women that as we're approaching our period, the bleed, this is when traditionally and historically we should be slowing down. We want to, stem the blood flow. We don't want, we're already tired, or already, our body's preparing for the blood loss. So it is sort of, if you think about it, theoretically, we should be kind of slowing down, eating, nourishing, moving slower. But I was not listening to any of that. So what happened was, when I was walking around the garden going, I must be able to walk, I need to straighten my back. Forget this spasm. I got stung by a bee. Not a wasp, a bee. And I was like, this is a joke. Like literally to the point where I started laughing and then I started crying because actually I get a really bad reaction to wasp stings and bee stings. Saying that I've never been stung by a bee, which again was a bit like red flag, alert, alert, this is not a wasp, this is a bee. What you can't see is that underneath this desk that I'm talking to you, I have a ice bucket. You might be able to hear the jingle jangle of the ice. My foot is in there because it's swollen up. It's agony. This is like 3 or 4 days later, because I have a feeling that even though my back is feeling better, the universe, whatever's going on, is trying to tell me that it's okay to rest, it's okay to restore, it's okay to recharge. Now, while this is all going on, the toenail, the back spasm, the bee sting, all on my feet. So it's kind of like telling me you need to be off your feet, you need to not be moving, you need to be kind of like resting. I had committed to launching the membership. And this was something I've been working on for a very long time. This is something that I have put a huge amount of my heart, my soul, brain power, logistics, so much of the amount of research, the amount of hours that I've taken to really ensure that I bring something that feels incredibly authentic, that brings that's a place of service, that is something that is going to nourish me, that's not going to sort of take away from me, that I'm going to be able to really kind of be in it and really give you the content and everything that I want to give you. And I basically thought, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this in pain, on painkillers, with feeling the way I am? And what happened was I launched it to the waiting list. I had an amazing waiting list that you all patiently sat on. And I just sent an email. And I sent an email which took me maybe 20 minutes to write. And I wrote it from the heart. And the orders came flooding in. From that one email, the orders, the messages on my email telling me that more and more people were signing up to the membership. And that was a powerful moment. That was a powerful message to show me that it's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest, because even when I'm resting and even when I'm recharging, we can still create change. We can still be abundant. We can still do the things that we're passionate about. We can still be of a place of service. But actually, it's okay to nourish ourselves. It's okay to do it the way we want to do it. In my head, I was thinking, this launch is going to be like powerful. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be talking about on social media. And actually, it hasn't. It's been, a few emails. It's been me coming from, a very honest place. And what I wanted to show you is that when we lean into the way our brain wants to work, the way our nervous system wants to work, I'm always going to be coming back to the nervous system, because I genuinely believe that the nervous system and ADHD is so interconnected. And when we start understanding that we need to be nourishing that and pulling back and leaning in and recognizing how we're feeling, recognizing our body somatically, the signs, what it's showing us, how we're feeling, that's when we can work with our ADHD. That's when we thrive better with our ADHD. That's when we can really utilize our strengths and the challenges don't feel as overwhelming. So I have listened. I've clearly, needed quite a few nudges. I've needed quite a few reminders. But what I've done is I have stopped and I've nourished and I've done what I needed to do. And the biggest thing for me, and I still struggle with this, is receiving help. And I speak to quite a few of my clients about this, that they've always been the capable ones. They've always been the ones who have, whether it's to do, with a toxic, family setup. It's been a setup where you've kind of felt that you've had to take charge, maybe dysfunctional parenting. Perhaps it's just been the way you've coped, that you've always been that person that gives help and doesn't receive the help, that you've always offering the help. You're always there, being the one that gives. And actually, it's really important that if we're always going to be the givers, we need to learn how to receive. It's like an energy flow. Again, I'm going to keep coming back to ebb and flow and cycles. And it's not easy for me to receive because, first of all, my job is to give. My job is to be that person that listens and to hopefully, guide. I've got 4 kids. My job is to like parent and to be that, that person that helps their children. I've got a husband. I want to be a good wife. And so I feel like I give a lot, and receiving for me still is not that comfortable. And I had to put my hands up over this past week and actually receive help and take up people's offers to maybe cook or to pick kids up or do the things, and let my husband carry me to a car. Like, I had to hold on to my husband and hobble into a physio appointment and be the vulnerable one, be the person that has to kind of, be that person that doesn't have all the answers. And actually, it's okay to be that person that says, no, I can't do it. And again, this has been a whole, lesson in itself for me. But I always think when we have these quite challenging moments, it's always there to teach us something. And hopefully, if I learn from it, I can teach you guys. So I just wanted to come here and tell you this story and explain to you how I'm feeling, so you guys can understand maybe how it shows up in your life. What does your nervous system show you? And there's very often we can be ahead of this burnout. We can be ahead of like this sort of catastrophic place of getting to a point where it's so extreme. Lots of amazing tools that we can be using. And, again, it's ridiculous, but I'm an EFT practitioner, and I should have sensed the overwhelm. And I actually did a little bit around that. And I think from what I've uncovered from the podcast nomination, there was some stuff that I'd not worked on. Something around it's okay to be seen. It's safe to be seen. It's safe to use my voice. It's safe to be successful. Again, are we used to being successful? Are we used to being seen? Are we used to trusting our voice? Maybe we've always been battered away by family members. Maybe people have always dismissed us. Maybe our voice has never been heard. So in this instance, for me, that the fact that the podcast was nominated, it's been validated, it's been heard, that actually, what I'm doing is of service. It is helping people. And that's quite a big, it's almost like another ceiling that I'm going to have to go through, of recognition that, it's okay for me to step into my power. It's okay for me to recognize that I can use my truth, my vulnerability to help others. So there's a lot of work I had to do. It's okay to be successful. It's okay. Think bad things aren't going to happen if we are successful on our terms. So if any of this is resonating, there's lots that you can do on this, lots of writing, lots of self-questioning, self-inquiry. Why am I feeling like this? And I did a really powerful exercise actually, where I used a repetitive statement. I'm not going to really show you what I've written, but you can see what I've done here. This is someone, an amazing healer who told me this. Is that actually, I think part of this, what I was struggling with, I deserve to be happy, because I've seen perhaps in my family that struggle is normal, lack is normal, feeling overwhelmed is normal, feeling like we're not quite on top of things, feeling like being stressed is just a normal state. And when good things happen, it can throw us just the way it can throw someone if something really bad happens. And that's what happened to me with the podcast. It was almost like, I wonder if I would have dealt with it better if I'd not been nominated. I actually think probably I would have done, because that's what I was expecting. I was expecting not to be nominated, and that probably would have felt more comfortable, but I would have been really disappointed, because I'd worked really hard for it, and actually I do deserve it, and I do deserve to be listened to, and I do deserve for my voice to be recognised, and I do deserve to be successful, happy and abundant. But what I've had to do, and this is a great exercise, is that we write down that statement of what's really sort of underneath there. You have to pick a few layers, and again, I did it with someone else, so you might need someone to do this with, is I wrote the reaction. So I wrote, for example, I deserve to be happy. Happy scares me. And we have to work through all those layers, peel away the layers, peel away the layers. And we do this 3 times. So every day I say, I'm going to do this now when I come off this call with you, and I'm going to do my next 15 until we get to a point where I've stripped away those beliefs, those old limiting beliefs that are holding me back from being comfortable with having my voice heard, being comfortable with being successful, being comfortable with things moving, perhaps where I don't know what it looks like because I've never been to this place. So lots there. I hope that's been helpful. I feel like I probably had more to say. Yes, one more thing, that's what I wanted to say, is something that I have uncovered, which I feel is very pertinent to ADHD, is that so many of us feel that we have this untapped potential, and I definitely felt I had it. There's potential there that's not being used, perhaps because our executive functioning doesn't feel right. Perhaps we are forgetful. Perhaps we're not quite organised enough. Maybe we're not delegating. Maybe we haven't got the support systems in place. That we have this potential. We want to be of service. We want to help. We want to showcase our talents. We want to be that person that we know we are deep down. But it's a recognition that there are limitations in place. So whether that limitation is you're prone to burnout and exhaustion, whether that limitation are your executive functioning, emotional regulation, whether it's not being able to sit down and know where to start, prioritizing and sequencing. So we have these limitations with ADHD, and it can feel very, very frustrating. But we also have on the other side, potential. We know we have potential. So how do we cross these together, blend them, so we are fulfilling our potential, but we're also helping ourselves with the limitations that we have? And I just wanted to put that out there because this is something else I'm going to be covering. So I just wanted to show you that this is perhaps sometimes where the frustrations lie, that we don't have that. It's almost like a Venn diagram, what's in between the limitations that we sometimes struggle with, and the potential, the untapped potential, the potential we know we have, what's in there. And I think that is support, guidance, delegation, asking for help, learning how our brain works, understanding ourselves, giving ourselves compassion, accepting where we are right now. That's what's going on in the Venn diagram. So if you are at a place now where you are struggling with a business, perhaps you can't organise your home, perhaps there's a summer coming up with your kids and you don't know how you're going to manage, I want you to kind of go into this and maybe work out what these limitations are, like really practical limitations, and then see what this potential is that you believe that there is, but you can't quite articulate it. See what it is, externalize it, put it down on paper. And then let me know. I would love to know. I mean, I think this is where we start sharing the goal. We start sharing the magic. Let me know what's come up for you, what you believe what help you can access, where you can start helping yourself, what can you stop putting so much pressure on yourself with, where you can ask for help, where you can delegate, where you can just accept where you are, where you can show yourself compassion. So I know there's a lot there, but I just wanted to come on. I wanted to share this with you as our first month of being part of the collective. I'm so excited that you're here. And I hope that by me sharing my own vulnerabilities and all these stories that I'm going to keep having, because I'm learning, I'm a few steps ahead of you, but I'm still learning, that you guys will start understanding yourselves more and start seeing perhaps some of the stuff that I'm going through in yourselves, and really offer yourselves that moment to just notice and be aware, write it down, sit, breathe, meditate, whatever it is, allow yourself that compassion, and hopefully we can all help each other. Take care, and I will see you soon.